All right, well, welcome everyone to another Decide Solutions webinar on this Wednesday. Today we're going to be talking about customizing SOLIDWORKS. I'm Jared Spaniel. I'm one of the applications engineers out of the Fresno, California office. I really wanted to talk about this topic because I've had a lot of questions recently that pertain to this topic regarding things like templates, how to copy settings, how to customize your interface, system options, and what they do. So I'm going to try to hit on all that in one blanket, all-encompassing webinar today, and hopefully answer some of those questions for you guys out there. So a brief overview of the topics that I'm going to hit on. I'm going to discuss the goal that I wanted to have accomplished today. We're going to talk a little bit about the user interface, things like the menus, toolbars, shortcuts. I'm going to briefly touch on some system options and where you can understand what different options do. Go over custom templates and show that. A little bit of the 2017 what's new as far as what you can customize in the new 2017 interface. If you're not already on 2017, this will be kind of interesting. The copy settings wizard, which is a very useful tool. And then I got some quick tips and tricks to speed up your customization and the user friendliness of SOLIDWORKS even more if that's possible. And then I got a little action item for you guys, what you can actually do today to implement some of these topics. And then we'll just close out after that. So my goal today is basically wrote up a goal statement here. It's to educate users on how they can customize multiple aspects of SOLIDWORKS, making the product more user-friendly for their particular use cases. It's ultimately going to saving that design time for you, the day-to-day user out there. So throughout this, I have a couple knowledge questions just to kind of get you guys warmed up and get some interest in here, see who's awake out there, and hopefully learn something and see where you guys stand. So the first question I have is, in SOLIDWORKS 2016, the D shortcut key was introduced as a default shortcut to do what? So I'm going to go ahead and release this poll. If you guys are awake out there, go ahead and throw an answer down there so we can hopefully learn something here. And I'll give about 30 seconds to a minute here and see what everyone remembers from the SOLIDWORKS 2016 rollouts events or the online webinars or the training that we had. So I'll wait a couple more seconds. I got a lot of answers coming in here. All right, I'll wait about 10 more seconds. Looks like I got a good number of people voted. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close out this poll, and then we'll review the answer. So it looks like most of the people actually thought that the D key opened a drawing, which that is actually not correct. It was bring the breadcrumbs confirmation corner to your mouse pointer. So I had a good number of people say dissolve a sketch, open a drawing, and then only about 22% said bring the breadcrumbs key in. So because of that, I'll actually jump into SOLIDWORKS and I'll show you that. So basically what the D key does, this is a default shortcut that's set up. If I click on anything in here and I hit the D key, what you'll notice, see I have the breadcrumbs up here in the left top corner. Click on something, I hit the D key, brings it directly down to my mouse pointer. So whatever I click on brings those applicable breadcrumbs and shortcuts right directly to my mouse pointer. That's actually what the D key does, and that was introduced in SOLIDWORKS 2016 and is of course carried forward to 2017 now. So cool. Let's move forward and talk about the user interface. So I want to talk about a few things about customizing the user interface. Most of these are quite simple things, but if you don't know about them, they can be very powerful. So within the customization tab for these tools for the user interface, I've got this broken down into a few things here. So I've got A as the toolbar. So this basically self-explanatory check mark turns on and off the toolbars that you need. The shortcuts, so B, you can customize individual shortcut bars to contain specific commands, and I'm going to show all these within SOLIDWORKS so you guys know how to access this and do this easily. C is the commands list, so this is basically an all-encompassing commands list that can be dragged and dropped onto any toolbar. D is your menus, so this changes the functionality of your menu tools and locations. And then E and F are basically your keyboard and mouse gesture shortcuts, where you can go in there and edit any of these shortcuts to customize how you want to actually use your commands within SOLIDWORKS. So let me jump into SOLIDWORKS. We'll take a look at a couple of these in here. So I'm just going to open up this part. The easiest way to get to this, there's a couple different ways as always within SOLIDWORKS, but I like to just right click and say customize here. That brings up this customize window. I like to leave all these on. I have my icon size set at the small one. You can easily turn this to the large toolbar buttons. I like to have all these on. I like the tooltips. I like to have my command manager locked in place so I don't accidentally grab that and drag and drop it around and misplace it whenever I'm moving commands and stuff. And then I like to have all these checked on so everything's shown. But the easiest way to have these is you can just check them in here. So if I want to have my assembly tab on, you'll notice I check this and my assembly features appear over here on the left side. If I want to turn blocks on, same thing. And you can have multiple of these on at the same time. They'll just begin to stack up. So depending on how convoluted you like your user interface to be, you can stack more of those up. I like to keep mine pretty basic and simple and only turn things on when I actually need them. The next one was the shortcut bars. So this controls your S key for the most part for all your different file types. So in this case, I'm customizing my part file. If I click over to my assembly, this is what will engage when I hit the S key within my assembly. This is what will engage when I hit the S key with my drawings. And the S key is a shortcut key. If you hit the S key while you're in that mode, it'll bring this flyout up. So if I wanted to, for instance, drag and drop a whole wizard item on here, I can just drag and drop that on here and place it. And when I hit OK, my S key will actually show up this command on here. The commands tab, this houses every basic command that's within SOLIDWORKS. So some things in here, all these different commands, you can easily just grab and place these anywhere you like. So if there's very specific things that you like to use, like maybe you use a lot of mold tools, you can just grab these commands and you want to place maybe a parting surface on your features tab up here on the command manager. I can just grab, drag and drop multiple of these on here, as many as I like. And then if I don't want them on here, I can just drag and drop them off and delete them from my tab up here. The next one is your menus. So I don't really come in here and change much, but this basically just controls what is accessible through your menus up here, your file, edit, view, insert tools. And you can see as I click through each one of these, it shows me what is available commands to access in those drop-down menus. Now, I don't use these too much because that's an extra click and an extra search. I have to look through a huge menu to find stuff. So, I don't really customize these too much. I just leave them at the defaults here and find stuff as I need it. The next one is your keyboard. So this is where you put all your keyboard shortcuts in. If there's specific shortcuts that you want to have that that you use all the time, you may want to customize some of these. The common ones, like things that the common ones to know are things like save, Control S, that way you don't have to come up here to the save button. And some of these are standardized throughout pretty much Windows and all kinds of operating platforms. Like print's always been Control P. Some of the other good ones down here to know are the views. So if you want to switch views, each view, you have Control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The normal 2 is a really good one to know, is Control 8. And I also have the normal 2 up here in my heads up display. But, if you remember that Control 8, that'll automatically bring that normal 2. The one that we just talked about in the question, here's the D key that we just discussed. So that was the bring your move selection breadcrumbs confirmation corner to your mouse pointer, D key. There's quite a few other ones in here that probably you might not use, all the time. Some are really good to know if you do use frequently. The next one's the mouse gestures. So this one, you can customize your mouse gesture to be 4 or 8 gestures, and all you have to do is right mouse button click and hold, and that'll bring up your mouse gestures, and then it tells you what each direction of the mouse actually does in here. So in this case, zoom to area, you right click, and the down, kind of angled arrow down in the corner will get you to that. So you can customize all these individually. I don't use these ones too much, but they are there. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel out of that, and then I'll show a couple of these. The S key was the one we talked about, so here's the S key that I just set up. So there's the whole wizard that I added, and there's a couple other ones in here that I keep. Sometimes I use a lot, like the line and the rectangle. And then the other one that we discussed was the mouse gestures. So if I right click and hold that right mouse button, you can see the different mouse gestures here that are available. And there's the zoom. So if I click on that, I can automatically access that zoom command. And then just the escape key will bring you out of that mouse gesture. The other one I wanted to mention here was the ability to add a custom tab. So if you go back into the customize, you can actually add your own custom tabs, really similar, just like in Excel. If you just hit new tab here, you can rename these tabs and make them whatever you want. So I can add more empty tabs, and I can, maybe if I want to have this be a project tab, I can say project 1 and add that tab, and then I can add different commands. I can come over to my commands here, and if there's specific things that I'm actually using for that actual project, I can drag and drop those up here. So now I have a tab that I created earlier with a command, and then I have a project tab. So really easy to do that type of stuff. So some system options. I'm just going to touch on this real briefly here. I've been getting a lot of questions about this, of like, how do I customize my system options? I don't have time in this webinar to go over every single option, obviously, and what they do, because there's just hundreds of them. But what I wanted to do was point you guys in the direction of where you can go to figure out what all the system options do on your own time. So common question, how do I know what all these settings do? Great question. Where are you going to find out where to get help? Easiest way, utilize the search within SOLIDWORKS and look for the system options. So if I come in here, this drop down is another really great way to find things. If I search the SOLIDWORKS help here, and I just type in system options, hit the enter key, it'll bring up this SOLIDWORKS help from Dassault Systems, and you'll notice that I have all these different search criterias. If I hit just system options general, it'll take me directly into the help, and I can change my version in here. So in this case, I'm on 17. But this basically points out all the system options that are available within the system option customization tab. And you can see it tells you where to go, click options here, and then it gives you all the different options. So if I wanted to look at performance settings, it'll tell me all about that. If I wanted to look at my drawing options, anything like that, assembly options, all these different options are listed in here. So everything that you'll need to know about how to customize your SOLIDWORKS. So here's performance. This is a really good one to go to. Tells you what every one of these does. Curvature on demand, assemblies. One of the ones I had a question on recently was this no preview during open, making it faster. So this basically just is a checkbox, and it selects, it disables the interactive preview when loading models. So if you clear to display the interactive preview while the model is loading, it's faster. So basically, if you have it checked or unchecked, one way will have the model shown when you're opening, and one way will just show you nothing while the models are loading up. So very simple, thorough explanations in here written on every option that there is. I really like that. Sometimes you just need to look up what options do. And the options I'm referring to, if you go up here to the gear under options, you can see the tabs here for system options and document properties, and all the options in here are listed, are explained in that help file manager. So that's where you guys can go to get that explanation if you need it. Okay, another knowledge test, see who's awake out there still. So I wanted to release this poll. This is going to be on templates, so a little bit more difficult
of a question here, but I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll. The question is, so in drawing templates, these are special case templates that require a sheet format file to be linked with them as well. When a new sheet is created, it references that sheet format link. What does a sheet format file contain that a drawing template does not? So this is whenever you guys are in a drawing and you create a new sheet on your drawing, so you can have multiple sheets. It'll link up to this sheet format file, and this contains certain items that allow you to actually create your new sheet. If you don't have these items linked up in a sheet format template, it may kick out an error saying that you're missing something or it cannot create these files. And by the way, this is a multiple answer question, so there is multiple answers to check, and there is one answer. There's one correct answer for this. All right, I'll give a couple more seconds because it looks like quite a few people are still voting here. So definitely make sure that you guys are checking multiple answers on this one. There is multiple correct answers here. All right, just for the time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and actually close this poll out, and then we'll look at the answer. So in this case, the answer was actually all of them. So if you checked every box, then you're 100% correct. You need to have a border, a title block, a logo, and a table anchor specified in a sheet format template to complete that template for a new drawing sheet. So a little bit more of a difficult question, but good to know. All right, let's move on to custom templates. I have had quite a few questions on this recently. So the point of custom templates here I want to address is, do you guys find yourself making the same changes in the document properties every time you start a new part, drawing, assembly file within SOLIDWORks? That wastes a lot of time, right? You don't want to keep making those changes every single time. Some examples I put up here are things like maybe you want to show certain planes, maybe you want to have a certain number of decimal places specified, maybe your company requires you to use a specific dimensioning standard or something of that nature. Could be any number of things that you want to customize within your own part drawing or assembly. So let's break down some of these steps, and then I'm actually going to run through this within SOLIDWORks and just show you how easy it is to do this. The first thing is to create or identify a folder independent of the SOLIDWORks install path, and that's really important because if you put them within the install path where your default templates are, whenever you guys do a clean uninstall, an upgrade, or anything like that, those templates will be wiped out with the uninstall of the old version. So you always want to make sure that you save any templates or any custom files, design library custom files, or Weldment custom files, templates, or anything like that, or the default or the custom templates for drawings or parts, assemblies in a separate location. Another great tip here is, use a network folder and so others can access your templates. So this is good if you're in an organization where you want everyone to use the same part or drawing templates. Put them there and everyone can pull those up within there whenever they start a new file. Next step, pretty self-explanatory. Tell SOLIDWORKS where the templates are located. So this is on your system options, file locations, document templates. Click add and browse and add that template location. Next step, open up a default template and create a new template. Make the changes you want. So start with an empty file, part drawing or assembly. Start making your changes. Set the document properties to meet your needs. Then do a file save as. Use the drop down to save as type. All templates for a part are PRT dot, assemb dot for assembly, or .drw dot for a drawing. And then verify your default templates are the ones you want to use. Use the button to select always use default doc template or prompt the user to select their own template. So let's go ahead and set one up. So let's look at this part. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to open up a new part. So these are my default templates here that come in with the SOLIDWORKS install. I'm going to hit OK. This brings me into this blank part. I'm going to come up here to my properties and come over here to document properties. And I'm just going to grab a couple of random things. So I'm going to come into my dimensioning. Maybe I want to use these arrow types. Maybe I want to have everything set to a 3 decimal place precision. Maybe I want to show units. Maybe I want to always have my dual dimension display on. I can come down here to my units. Maybe I want to always be in millimeters whenever this opens up, so I don't want to have to change from inches to millimeters. I want to have all these decimal places be 3. So I'll change a couple of these to 3. There's so many other things that you can customize in here, right? All these different items, you know, whatever you want to essentially customize for your template. So this is where you create everything to meet your needs, right? Then I'm just going to hit OK. And then very simply, I'm going to do a save as. I'm going to browse to a location. So in this case, I have a folder created in my documents folder here called custom demo templates, and I'm just going to save this out as a prt.file, and I'm going to call this a custom dimensioning standards 1. Make sure this is set to prt dot. I'm going to hit save. And then I'm going to go in here to my file locations. So I'm going to browse to my system options, file locations, document templates. I'm going to hit add. I'm going to go to that folder documents, custom templates, select this folder. Now you'll see that it shows up right here. Hit OK. It asks me if I like to make that change to that search path. Just say yes. So now when I open up my new part, if I say new, file new, it shows me custom dimensioning scheme part template available, and you can see that I have some other templates here too. So every time you create a new template, document template folder, it'll create a new tab in here, and it'll house those specific templates in that location in your selection manager here. I'll hit OK, and now I'm in this new part. If I go back to my settings and check my document properties, you'll see my dimensions are what I had set up, 1, 2, 3. Here's my arrow. My detailing, here's my units are all 1, 2, 3. So, you know, very simple way to create those templates and how to do that stuff. Making things a lot quicker and easier on you guys. All right, so some of the 2017 what's new stuff. I'm going to jump through this really quick. You guys might have seen some of this at our what's new rollouts, but now you can do a configuration sort order. You can turn on and off the dynamic reference visualization. I should mention that was able to be done last year. They improved the dynamic reference visualization this year by making it a little bit clearer to see the parents and children and understand what was relating to what features. Now you can suppress the configuration and display state names in the design tree. I really like that one because it makes it a lot cleaner if you only have one display state or configuration. You can add feature tree comments. With comment indicators, you can add standalone comments, and you can even add images to screenshots. So let's jump into SOLIDWORKS and take a look at a couple of these things really quick. So the first one I mentioned was the configuration sort order. So if I open up this screw or this pan head, what you'll notice in here is I can actually go in here and I can do a if I go into my configurations tab, you'll notice I have quite a few different configurations available to me. If I look at my tree order, I can set this to numeric, literal, or manual. I'll just keep it at manual, and I want to use this M4 by 0.7. I'll drag that to the top here. So then if I switch back over to my assembly, what that allows me to do is basically just click on this. When I go to change my configuration, you'll notice I have that M4 by 0.7 at the top for easy access now, so I can easily grab that, hit the check, and that will come in. The other one that I really wanted to point out was the dynamic reference visualization. So if you guys don't like that, you are able to turn that on and off. So all that is the little lines that come up whenever I click on any items here. I'm actually going to switch over to this other assembly here. So if I come up here, you'll see the two little boxes. One's for parent and one's for child. I can just toggle those to turn them off if I don't want them to be on anymore. Very easy. And then the other one, with the tree display, so here you'll notice I have one configuration, but I have all these default display states listed. I don't want to see any of that. So if I come over here, right click and do a tree display and just say do not show configuration if only one exists, click that, and that really cleans up my tree. I can shrink this down and leave a little bit more room for my graphics window here. The other one we can easily do is adding comments. So if I right click and say add comment, I can add a standalone comment. So I'll just do standalone, do save and close. And now you'll notice I have this little comments indicator here, and it shows me I have a comment right here. Pretty easy. I can also turn on any comment indicators. So I can do a tree display and do a show comment indicators. And that'll bring up any comment indicators that I have in my tree. If I switch back to this one, I believe there's some comment indicators. So I'll do tree display, show comment indicator, and you'll notice all these comment indicators pop up here letting me know that there is in fact a comment associated with this feature or part. So that's some of the what's new stuff in 2017, just kind of a little recap on that. Let's look at this copy settings wizard. Now we're kind of getting to the end here, but I did want to hit this really quick. So the copy settings wizard allows you guys to preserve time and effort invested in customizing SOLIDWORKS. So all that work we just put in, creating our templates, creating our specific command manager, putting our commands, customizing our shortcut key, our mouse gestures, we want to preserve that, right? I don't want to lose that every single time. So some of the use cases that this is applicable to are like upgrading to a new computer, anytime you perform a major release upgrade with a clean install, or maybe you just want to share some common settings with other users. So you can share your settings out for other people in your organization. Maybe you want to put them on the network, anything like that, very easy. So how do you access the tool? You can go to the tools drop down and do save restore settings, or just go to the Windows button, find your SOLIDWORKS tools, copy settings wizard. I just like to search for copy settings wizard. That's the easiest method. So how do you actually do this? You do choose save and restore settings, hit the next, choose a location where you want to back up your settings. You can tell which users or computers on your network should receive the settings, hit finish, and it automatically creates a SLD reg file for you. And then to restore the settings, just reverse the process and hit choose restore settings and follow the wizard opposed to save settings. So here's kind of what that looks like. Here's what the manager looks like. So let's actually go in here and copy some settings. So if I do this, all I do is go down here and search copy settings, and there it is, copy settings wizard. So I'll just choose save settings, hit the next button. It tells me I have this running. I'm just going to go ahead and say yes for now. You should have SOLIDWORKS closed when you do this. I'm going to browse to a location, in this case my desktop, and then just whatever settings you want to save, you can pick and choose which ones you want, or just leave everything checked for all the settings. Hit finish, and it'll write those settings directly to your desktop. And then the reverse, if I want to restore these, just hit restore settings, go through, and it'll dump those settings into your SOLIDWORKS whenever you have the new version installed. It's pretty straightforward, very easy to use. Just don't forget about that whenever you guys are upgrading or doing any of that. Usually if I come out, I'll take care of that for you. A couple quick tips and tricks to customize I want to hit on really fast. Use the search bar to find commands fast. I don't know if you guys know about that. I'll show that one in a second. And then you can actually drag and drop from the search bar to your command manager tab, very similarly to how we did it with the customize window that I opened up earlier. Then the S key, we talked about that a little bit, quick access to functions at your mouse location that you use very frequently. And then customizing the command manager tab, which I also showed, so that's great for a specific product, using unique commands throughout that project. Same thing, just go into the customize box and add a custom tab there. The one I will show is the search function. So let me jump into another file here, and maybe there's an option you want to add to your features tab that you're looking for that isn't available up here. So instead of going into the customize window and trying to find this, maybe I want to use the flex option. So all I have to do is type in the name, and then right here it'll give me that command, and I can just either click on this to activate it and it'll bring it up, or I can just drag and drop it directly onto my command manager here, and now it's there for when I want to use it. Very, very simple way to add those commands. I use this all the time. This is a huge time saver, especially if you're in a hurry and you're trying to find something. I don't want to go digging through all these lists of commands in here, so I can obviously find it in this list, but I'm going to have to look through a bunch of these to figure out where it is. So I don't really want to do that. Just come up here, type it in, and it'll bring that up for you. Very quick and easy way. All right, so let's wind this down and kind of close it out. The action item I wanted to pose to you guys out there, the users, is, take some time up front to actually set up SOLIDWORKS for easier access to your commands, your shortcuts, and your frequently used items. This is really going to save time and ultimately make designing in SOLIDWORKS faster and even easier if that's possible. But, go ahead and put in some time up front and get that set up to how you want to use it. And it will make your life a lot easier. Customize those templates off the bat, and then everyone can use them. Everyone's using the same standards, the same items, the same dimensioning schemes, and there's no differentiation between what everyone's doing, creating, different things. So I'd like to thank you guys for attending, and remind you to if you saw anything today that could benefit your company, and then think about how SOLIDWORKS can help with your upcoming projects. Feel free to contact us if you have any further questions or needs for your organization regarding SOLIDWORKS. My contact info is up here, jspaniel@decide-solutions.com. And then, of course, we have our tech support line as well. If you'd like to call them for any help that you need on your current projects or issues that you're having with SOLIDWORKS, feel free to reach out to them as well. I also wanted to